Hello, welcome, it's me Wayne Robbins and this is Retro Robbins. What I'm going to do today is just give you a little bit of help if you've never changed the membrane inside the Spectrum Plus or indeed want to make a toast rack. I'm going to show you how to do that now because it's not as easy as doing the 48K. There are tricks to doing that as well, and maybe I should do a video on that in future. First of all, the difference between the two membranes is the Spectrum Plus and the toast rack, means it's got a bigger keyboard. Instead of just having two layers, it's got three layers. And the reason why that is because there's going to be a lot of wires floating around. They couldn't do it in two layers, but they needed to keep these layers apart so as you've got, you know, plenty of space between them, sort of thing. So it tends to look a little bit like that. And as you can see, there's quite a few different layers there, but that means that here and here the last of the layers actually ends. The top layer ends here and the other layer just ends there, which means you've got this slight gap. I don't know if you can see that very well there. Now you can see there's four connections there and they actually have to press onto there. So this will come apparent in a moment, and of course then you've got a load of connections there which also press there, because inside your Spectrum Plus or your toast rack there's a couple of clamps which clamp these down across there, and it's important that you do get them clamped nicely together because the pressure of the clamp onto there is what makes good connection. So that adds the third layer, which then goes into your actual motherboard of your computer. So there it is. And of course, another important detail, make sure you get no debris or dust in between there, because if you do it will stop good continuity and therefore you might have problems with one or two keys not working. So we're going to place this to one side for a moment and we're going to move on to what we're going to be doing. Whoops. And this is this one here. The beloved, shall we turn it around so you can see in its full glory, 128K. Right, now on this there are a total of 3 screws there, and there's 3 screws there, but then there's additional screw in the middle here which has usually got some sort of little sticker over it or anything, and there's a smaller screw there. So there's a total of 8 screws, and of course just to save time I've taken those screws out ready. Now unlike the Spectrum where you turn it upside down to take the top off, with the Plus or the toast rack you just simply turn it this way. So I'm going to just move the camera down so you can get a nice view about what I'm about to do. Now if you can lift this gently, and of course with the here will be a little bit tighter, so I always tend to come from this side here with the toast rack, and as you can see there's a foot, that little red thing there is one of the feet which is stuck to the top. Okay, so we'll just put that to one side, which I'm going to have to replace anyways, because as you can see I've sort of fixed the broken thing there, but I've got a replacement for that, so that's not a problem. And now you can see, just gently pull this way so there's no tension on it. You can see there the membrane. Now what I tend to do to make it nice and easy, get your fingers nice and low, thumb behind, low as possible, and finger in front, and that way you can grip it as close to the base as you can. By then just giving it a nice gentle little whittle and a small tug, it should come out nice and easy. And the same for this side, thumb behind. Right, don't be worried about touching the circuit board, it's not plugged in. There you go, nice little whittle, just gently, no need to rush. And then we've taken away the main board, which is there. Right, we're going to take that out because you don't want to lose your feet, and they will drop out if you're not careful, so I just take them out anyways. Put them to one side before we put it all back together. We'll put this to one side. Top tip, have a little small plastic tray, which I've got one here, to put your screws in so as you don't lose them and they don't roll off anywhere. Now, these are the two clamps I'm talking about, and as you can see they've clamped it there and there just underneath. Right, so the first thing you're going to do is undo those. I always start with the clamps myself. You can do all these screws then the clamps, but I'd rather loosen the tension here first. So we're going to do them by just simply giving a good little, just pan the camera around, as you can see, there you go, bring it back, there you go. Just, you know, you're not looking at snapping it, you just want to just gently, remember this plastic, they will come out nice and easy. I just loosen them all off to start with. There we go. Remember the plastic is over 30 years old, and the last thing you want to do is lose one of your threads in your plastics. Just take your time, there's no need to rush. And once you've loosened, and I'll show you now, they should just lift off nicely. Now, I've got a magnetic screwdriver which is a help, but I tend to leave the screws in. And if you can, I'll try and just put that to one side for now. So I'm just going to put that over here, which is on this little slip pad there that I've got, and this one also should just now narrowly lift off. Okay, that's that done. Now you've got 4 screws at the top, and then it goes 3 and 3, right? You can use the inside of here obviously to drop your screws in if you wish, which I probably will do that because it'll make it easy. So what I'll do is this first compartment here, I'll put my first 4 screws into there. Shall I use Retro Recipe Sonic Screwdriver? Yeah. No, I can't do it, sorry. Now, I'm just showing you, people often make mistakes putting these sort of membranes in because they don't clamp them right, and then of course they don't think it's working, or they think the membrane's faulty or something, but it's not that difficult really. So we're nearly done. Once you take your last screw out, take great care. There's not a race, it's not a rush. There we go. And we'll just lift this pad off nice and gently, and we'll just put it there ready. And as you can see, just gently lift it up. Try and leave that down if you can, just gently lift it up. And there we go. And of course there's that piece there, and of course the older ones, they're sort of, okay, they're fairly bulletproof anyways. If you want to give it a clean it up, now's your time. Also on the older ones, not all of these have got these on, you've got these little rubber backings, they've got to be important that they go there. So we'll just get a few little dust. I've done this already once this year, so clean the keyboard out nicely, because dust buddies can cause problems. Okay, so there's the old one, and there's the new one, which you can get this part from ZX Renew, and it's pretty self-explanatory. The smaller size, this size, and the larger size is that side. So there's little ways to align it. There's a little, as you push down, you can see as the keys fall down, these there's little prongs that stick up either side there and there. So a good tip would be, which I haven't done today because I'm so used to doing this, but perhaps I should, and I just so happen to have the perfect device. Nice bit of wood, just snap that off, look there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that this side here, and I'm going to put that this side here, and now all of a sudden the keys are sitting down, right? Just by I mean, you can get that from any hobbycraft shop, just a little bit of square wood like. Now that's sitting down. You can see, you can feel the prongs nice and clearly, and that will help you to align it, right? You can't get this wrong. Well, people often do. So there's 4, 1 and 5. So you look there, 5, 1 and 4. So when you drop that into there like that, that little prong there will probably just meet up with there. There's a hole there in there. Just push that down nicely. There we go. There we go. And you can see that that's going to meet up nicely there, meet up nicely there. So I'm just pushing that ready in place. And just do the reverse of what you've done. Once you're happy that you've got the alignment that you need. And if you notice there's a little cutout, but there tends to be a hole, you can just align that there and then just nice and gently find that. There you go. Now you know that that's in place, right? So remember not to over tighten it. I always hold the end, the very end of the screwdriver there. I twist there, so you can't, if you're twisting there you can put too much pressure on, but if you're twisting there with your fingers you will not do any damage to the plastic, because you won't, you're sort of gearing it down in your own way, right? Always twist backwards, find the bite, you know, hold it there as well so it's nice and level and straight. Just down you go. Gently give it a little, not too heavy a twist. You don't want to stretch the plastic. I mean, it is old, a bit like myself. Sometimes, I mean, you don't always have to twist backwards. If you feel that by feel, you can feel that you've found that biting point straight away. Sometimes it might take a few twists back. Right, and I'm just going to go in a various pattern, almost like doing a head gasket on a car. There's no need to go straight that way. Try and work your way around in a random sequence, and that way you get an even pressure all the way around. So I don't want to cover the camera view up. See, that one's not quite catching, so I'm just twisting it back, and I can feel it as soon as it clicks. There we go, got it. There we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3 left to do. Remember, I've done this a couple of times before, but if this is your first time, the mistakes that can be made is when people rush. There's no need to rush. I mean, the membrane, when they're looked after, can last an awful long time. Right, important. Now you've got to push this back to get that so it's in the right place. Once you've got that in the right place, get ready to clamp that on. Once again, at the end of your fingers. And if it doesn't work, just go back and usually find it's because of these, you haven't clamped them down right and it isn't making good continuity. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's move on to this one. I'm going to push that down there. I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if I can move the camera around for you. I'm pushing it down there so that pads nicely across. You know what I mean? You don't want to try and clamp it down and push it. Just push it down and then put the let's just bring the camera around for you. There you go. Well, push it down. Place that in place. I mean, it will slot down. There's like, it's like a little recess hole it sinks into. When you're happy that that's aligned, gently just do a little bit each side, you know, and then finish it off with a tie. You don't want to over tighten these because you will hear that clicking. That's me going a little bit too over tightened, but that's down solid now. So let's put that back. There we go. Sorry about the dodgy camera work, but This is Retro Robbins for you. So I'm going to move this to one side because I'm going to show you the working now with all the keys, hopefully. But before we put it all back together, I'm just going to plug that into here. And of course, I've recently made one of these die cards, and they also have an added bonus to them, so yeah, nice and gently. Just like to give it I don't like to push too hard. Just check my alignment. I'm not going to ruin my toast rack, I promise you. There you go, nice and in. I'm not going to force anything at all. So, I'm just using the Sinclair power supply. It's not recommended, use the proper ones. And there we go. And if you see on this die card, it's got a test, so but what we'll do is we'll just restart that. While that tests are on, let's just switch that off. Never mind my Pepsi Max, you can't have that, it's mine. Okay, well that's testing that. Let's just gently switch that off again. I'm just going to push these keyboards in, same process as before, but now it's just hold it as close to the base as you can, right there. You don't want to be holding it up there because you're going to bend it left, right and centre trying to push in. Hold it as close to the base you can, and then just, it's like a little whittling motion. You can sometimes push it straight down, but just gently into it. So I don't know if you can see that okay, just gently, look, there you go, that just pushed in lovely, nice and easy. Same here, to the base, just gently pushed in. You can see that they're aligned with the contacts. So let's just pop that down there for now. We're not going to screw anything together just yet because we're going to test it, okay? So let's put that on. Right, so for keyboard keys, and now we've got the keys. There we go. You won't need to see, you might see me, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Once you've got that, and you can see them all lighting up, you can see that they're all working nicely. Sorry about the frame rate of the television, it may be a bit flickery, but you can get the general idea. That's the E for the enter. Caps is working. And of course space. So we've got all the keys working there. And of course what I'll do is just give it a quick reset. Okay, we'll just take out the peripheral on the back now we've pulled the power out. Just going to check everything else now. I'm just checking delete, and I'll tell you what we can do as well before we go anywhere else. Let's go to 48K spectrum mode. Right, we're going to test the graphics. I'm sorry about the frame rate. If I'd have used the monitor, graphics works. Inverse video, yeah, perfect. Caps lock, yep, and of course the arrow keys, you can just see it flicker anyways. Yep, perfect. So we don't need to put it back to show you put it back together, but yep, that was me, Retro Robbins, just showing you how to change one of these keyboards. There's a successful one. Didn't take too long, did it? So yep, that's how you do the toast rack, and I hope this is some help to you, of course. In the meantime, I'd just like to say thank you for watching. Enjoy your retro, but for me, Retro Robbins, goodbye for now.